Have you ever noticed certain numbers following you, appearing over and over, like silent echoes from the universe? Maybe on a clock stuck at 11:11, on a receipt total, or a license plate just as you're deep in thought. At first it might feel like coincidence, but ancient wisdom says otherwise. For centuries, enlightened masters have reminded us, not all numbers are meant for counting. Some are messages, some are keys. These sacred numbers don't just appear randomly. They arrive in moments when the soul is listening, aligned with rare planetary alignments and infused with timeless energy. They hold the quiet power to dissolve struggle, unlock clarity, and invite abundance. Even great seers like Nostradamus and Baba Vanga understood that numerology and astrology are not superstition. They're part of a larger divine design shaping our journey on Earth. In today's video, you and I will explore 6 sacred numbers that hold deep spiritual weight in ancient Buddhist teachings. These aren't just digits, they're vibrations, frequencies that when used mindfully can realign your life with purpose, prosperity, and peace. So stay with me, because this isn't just information, it's an activation. And near the end of the video, I'll reveal a 7th, hidden number, a subtle but incredibly powerful frequency that only a few know how to use. For those who do, it becomes a magnet for blessings and transformation. But first, pause. Take one slow, mindful breath. And if your heart feels called, do this. Tap the like button, subscribe to Buddhist teachings, and write this affirmation in the comments. I attract wealth with peace. I welcome abundance like a river welcomes the rain. This is not just a ritual, it is your declaration to the universe, a signal that you are ready to receive, not by force, but by harmony. Sublime. Number 12, the sacred rhythm of life. Let's begin with a number so quietly powerful that we often overlook it. 12. 12 hours of day, 12 hours of night, 12 months in a year. A sacred rhythm that guides the cycle of life, breath, and renewal. We rarely stop to ask, why does time itself bow to this number? Because 12 is not a coincidence. It is a cosmic structure. It is the invisible order behind what appears as chaos. It tells us that beneath every storm is a pattern, and beneath every pattern is a purpose. As the Buddha taught, all things arise and pass away. This isn't just philosophy, it's a compass for peace. When we recognize that our struggles are part of a rhythm, not random, we awaken the ability to move through them with grace. In Buddhist teachings, the number 12 also points to the 12 links of dependent origination, a profound teaching that reveals how suffering arises, and more importantly, how it can be released. Each link is a mirror. From a single thought arises a habit. From habit, a craving. From craving, a choice. And from that choice, the world we live in is shaped. This is the gentle but powerful truth. You are not a passenger, you are the driver. Suffering didn't appear out of nowhere, it followed a path. And if it followed a path to arrive, it can follow a new path to leave. By becoming aware, thread by thread, we begin to untangle what once felt unbreakable. That is the gift of number 12, a teacher disguised as a number. Stay with me. And remember, the final week of July 2025 carries a rare, energetic opening, like a lotus blooming in the middle of a desert. For those who are awake to the signs, this is your window of transformation. Do not turn away. Every number we reveal carries a vibration that could shift your destiny. And the 7th bonus number I'll share at the end, it may just be the missing piece your soul has been quietly waiting for. So remain present, stay open, because something sacred is about to unfold. Number 12. The power of the sacred pause. The number 12 arrives like a gentle whisper in a noisy world, an invitation to pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what's really triggering my reaction? Why does this pattern keep repeating? What if I didn't react but responded with presence? You are not a leaf tossed by the wind. You are the one holding the sail. True strength, according to Buddhist wisdom, is not loud. It doesn't roar. It doesn't demand attention. It blooms in stillness, in the sacred space between impulse and action. Think of the tiger, not frantic, not restless, but watchful, rooted, and completely aligned with the now. It doesn't move from fear, it moves from knowing. That's the quiet wisdom of number. It teaches us response over reaction, presence over panic, silence over noise. This kind of strength isn't always visible, but it is always felt. It's in the moment you stay grounded, even as the ground beneath you shifts. It's in the courage to follow your inner compass, even when the world demands urgency, chaos, and haste. So ask yourself, what if your breakthrough isn't in doing more but in doing what truly matters? What if abundance isn't about chasing the world, but aligning with your truth? Maybe all it takes is one intentional breath before you speak, one honest no to something draining your light, one bold yes to the whisper your soul has been patiently repeating. Number 18, where chaos becomes creativity. Now enter number 18, the number that speaks directly to your restless mind. Have you ever laid awake at night, your thoughts racing through time? One moment you're replaying a forgotten task from today, the next you're imagining the future or reliving a moment from 10 years ago, as if it just happened. Your mind leaps, it spirals, past, present and future blur into one endless stream. Most people call this overthinking, but what if it's something more? What if that mental storm isn't a weakness, but a signal? A portal to potential that's waiting to be shaped. In Buddhist teachings, this is known as the monkey mind, constantly jumping, shifting, moving. And while most try to suppress it, the true path isn't silencing your mind, it's understanding it. Your mind doesn't seek stillness, it seeks transformation. This is where the energy of 18 begins to stir. 1 is the spark, bold, pioneering, forward-moving. 8 is the anchor, symbol of balance, abundance, and infinity. Together, they form a divine partnership, a code reminding you that your restlessness is not chaos, it's creativity in disguise. Your mind isn't broken, it's brilliant, alive, fertile, overflowing with untamed inspiration, just waiting to be invited into form. Stroke, a ritual for number. Each day, carve out 18 minutes for a mind release. Free write in a journal. Record a voice note. Sketch, doodle, or brainstorm. No editing, no judgment, just let the mind speak. Because most breakthroughs aren't born from silence. They're born from storms that finally found direction. And when your thoughts begin to spiral again, ask, is this thought building something within me, or breaking me apart? That single pause, that breath of awareness, it opens the door to clarity. Say yes to the unexpected, a detour, a strange idea, a chance conversation, a spark of inspiration. Because, as Buddhist wisdom reminds us, the universe often speaks the loudest in unscheduled moments. Your mind is not the enemy. It is the teacher, the mirror, the messenger. And as the Buddha said, your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts. But once mastered, no one can help you more. So drop a comment below as your declaration. My mind is a sacred force. I release, I create, and I trust the flow. Number 18. Turning restlessness into power. Repeat this softly to yourself. For I trust the flow of my thoughts. I turn restless into power. The energy of 18 isn't here to silence the storm within you. It's here to teach you how to dance with it. It reminds you, you don't have to suppress your chaos to find peace. You just have to find the rhythm inside the noise. That whirl of overthinking, that tug of war between memory and imagination, it's not a flaw. It's your brilliance waiting to be noticed, waiting to be guided, waiting to be shaped. So lean in, listen closely, because your next breakthrough might be hiding in the very thoughts you've been trying to escape. This number 36, the awakening of inner freedom. Pause for a breath and ask yourself honestly, am I truly living or merely surviving inside someone else's version of my life? Because for many, the heaviest chains aren't made of metal. They're invisible, woven from silent expectations, inherited beliefs, and routines we follow without question. You wake up, tick off tasks, meet deadlines, yet deep down you feel like a stranger in your own story. That isn't living. That's survival on repeat. This is where number 36 whispers into your soul, not with force, but with deep compassion. You are allowed to live in a way that honors who you really are. In numerology, 3 is the soul's voice, creative, expressive, vibrant, alive. 6 is the heart's wisdom, grounded, caring, responsible, and clear. Together, 36 becomes a sacred alignment, where your truth and peace finally coexist, where you speak, act, and choose, not out of duty but out of alignment. From a Buddhist lens, this is not rebellion, it is liberation. As the Buddha taught, attachment is the root of suffering, and those attachments aren't always to things. They are often to identities, roles, and stories that no longer serve us. Maybe it's a job that drains you, a relationship where your truth is muted, a dream that once fit but now confines, and still you hold on. Why? Because letting go feels terrifying, but holding on is quietly costing your life. How to invite the energy of name the performance. Take just 5 honest minutes and write this. Which part of my life feels like a performance? Don't judge, just name it. Because when truth is spoken, its weight begins to lift. Reignite your spark. Recall a time when you felt completely alive. Not to impress, not to succeed, just free. Now, recreate a version of that feeling this week. Dance, paint, laugh without filter, speak from your soul. Make space for it, no matter how small. 3. Guard your energy. Audit your surroundings. Who shrinks your light, who helps you expand. Creating distance isn't cruelty, it's clarity. Surround yourself with those who honor your growth, not just tolerate your presence. Remember, you were not born to live caged by fear, not dulled by repetition, not silenced by expectation. You are the open sky, vast, untamed, eternal. And number 36 isn't just about material wealth. It's about reclaiming your deepest freedom, your choices, your voice, and your unshakable truth. Zubzum, number 48, the quiet strength of stillness. The world around you keeps whispering, move faster, keep up. If you're not ahead, you're behind. Success by 6 figures, by every achievement filtered, posted, praised. But what if this very race is what's keeping you from your true path? Enter the energy of number. It does not shout. It does not hurry. It arrives like a still lake, calm, deep, and powerful beyond measure. Because slow is not stuck, and patience is not weakness. 48 is the strength that blooms in silence. It's the grit of steady effort, the discipline of quiet intention, the courage to wait for what is real, instead of chasing what is trending. In a world addicted to urgency, 48, you do not have to rush to be relevant. You do not have to be seen to be powerful. Number 48, the quiet power of trusting the process. Think of number 48 as a steady breath in a world that demands speed. It is the whisper that reminds you, not all movement is progress, not all stillness is stagnation. Imagine a long mountain trail. Not every step is thrilling, but each one carries you toward the summit. Some days feel like standing still, but even in stillness, roots grow. Let's break down its sacred structure. 4 is the builder, the foundation. It represents consistency, patience, and the invisible strength behind daily rituals. Making your bed, journaling through chaos, planting seeds of discipline instead of chasing instant results. It is the earth beneath your feet, the ground that keeps you from spinning out. 8 is the loop, infinity flow, and abundance. It doesn't push, it returns. This is wealth built, not on urgency but on alignment. The karmic reminder that what you sow, you will eventually reap, if your heart is in harmony with your hands. Together, 48 becomes a sacred vibration, the energy of calm creation, the silent force that doesn't beg for applause. It simply shows up, day after day until life begins to bend in its favor. And on a deeper level, 48 is a spiritual lesson in trust. It's sitting on your meditation cushion even when your mind is storming. It's taking one conscious breath and whispering, through fun, I trust the process. Not because it's easy, but because it's true. As the Buddha taught, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. Transformation doesn't happen in fireworks. It happens in consistency, like a lotus rising from the mud, unseen until it blooms. So if you're in a season where progress feels invisible, if stillness feels heavy, remember this: you are not being delayed, you are being deeply rooted. Because number 48 isn't about chasing change. It's about becoming so aligned, so centered, that abundance doesn't feel like something you pursue, it becomes something you are. Number 24, the hidden strength of slowing down. Let me ask you something few dare to ask. What if your greatest strength isn't in how fast you move, but in how deeply you pause? Number 24 arrives like a sacred hush in the middle of noise. We've been conditioned to believe that power looks like hustle, loud voices, fast answers, endless activity. But Buddhist wisdom teaches another kind of power, one that does not crave the spotlight, one that lives in the space between chaos. 24 is your permission to step back into your center, to stop scattering your energy, trying to be everything to everyone, and to become fully present where it truly matters. In July 2025, this number becomes a mirror. Are your actions aligned with your purpose or with pressure? Let's feel its frequency. 2 is the heart. It holds your empathy, your intuition, your emotional clarity. It knows what feels right, even when your mind is still catching up. 4 is the root, the calm, grounded force that makes change sustainable. It is patience made real. Together, 24 creates a balanced harmony where emotional intelligence meets grounded intention, not frantic motion, but sacred direction. Into Situris, bonus code, number 8. The infinite return. And now, what comes next isn't just another number. It's a frequency, the final key. The number 8, ordinary to most. But to those who see it clearly, it is a sacred loop, a symbol of infinite return, a mirror that reflects a universal truth. Life does not move in straight lines, it flows in circles, in lessons, in cycles. What you give, returns. What you resist, persists. What you align with, unfolds in time. The number 8 reminds you that abundance is not about chasing, it's about becoming. It's not about forcing outcomes. It's about trusting the rhythm and realizing that the universe does not ignore devotion. It simply returns it when you're truly ready to receive. So as this journey ends, let one truth echo in your soul. You were never waiting for abundance. You were waiting to remember that you are the source of it. Drop your declaration below. I am aligned with the rhythm of life. I receive in stillness. I grow in trust. I return to myself. And if this message touched your heart, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who may need this gentle reminder. Because the sacred numbers aren't just digits. They are doorways. And today you just walked through one. There's a kind of strength that doesn't shout. It doesn't rush. It breathes, slowly, steadily, when the world demands speed. Imagine walking up a mountain trail. Not every step is thrilling. Some are silent, repetitive, ordinary, yet Each one is essential, because without them, you never reach the summit. Let's explore this journey through the quiet power of sacred numbers, beginning with the number 4. The energy of 4, the sacred ground. In numerology, 4 is the builder. It represents structure, stability, and quiet discipline. It's the energy behind small daily rituals, making your bed, journaling when your thoughts feel heavy, showing up for your meditation, even when your mind resists. 4 is not here to impress. It's here to root you, to remind you that real transformation doesn't happen in bursts. It grows in the invisible spaces beneath the surface, where consistency creates miracles. The flow of 8, abundance in alignment. Then comes 8, a number shaped like a loop, never ending, always returning. It symbolizes flow, balance, and karmic prosperity. This is abundance that isn't forced. It's earned through presence, values, and trust. When 4 and 8 come together, 48, they create a frequency of calm creation, a rhythm that doesn't chase attention, but magnetizes it. That shows up quietly until life begins to bend in its favor. And spiritually, 48 whispers this: show up even when it's hard. Trust the process, especially when there's no applause. As the Buddha taught, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. Number 24, the hidden power of stillness. Next comes a quieter teacher. It doesn't roar, it doesn't demand. It arrives gently, as a reminder that power isn't found in hustle, but in stillness. We're told that success means being busy, loud, everywhere at once. But 24 teaches the opposite. Be here, fully, calmly, intentionally. 2 is intuition, emotion, inner wisdom. 4 is structure, patience, grounded effort. Together, 24 becomes a sacred pause, a deep inhale before aligned action. And as July 2025 approaches, this number may be your invitation to slow down, to return to your breath, and to trust that being present is more powerful than being everywhere. Bonus frequency, the return of. Now, let's return to where it all comes together. The powerful number 8. To most it's just another digit, but turn it sideways and it becomes infinity. It reminds us, life doesn't move in straight lines, it moves in cycles. Energy returns, endings birth new beginnings, and what feels lost often reappears in another form. But here's the real magic. In Buddhist philosophy, the number 8 is sacred, the Noble Eightfold Path. 8 principles for living in truth, mindfulness, and alignment. Not for some distant enlightenment, but for everyday freedom. A real-life story, Adam and the Power of. Let me share a story. A man named Adam, a small business owner from New Jersey, lost everything. His startup collapsed, and so did his peace. He worked harder, hustled longer, trying to claw his way back. But the more he forced it, the further abundance slipped away. Then one day, while cleaning his desk, he found an old journal filled with doodles, circles and loops of the number. It stopped him. That day he made a quiet decision, not to fix everything, but to align with himself again. He committed to 8 small mindful acts a day: a silent morning, a few pages of wisdom, a nourishing meal, a walk without his phone, a kind gesture, deep gratitude before sleep. No noise, no perfection, just flow. And slowly, something changed. Not just his finances, but his inner world. He didn't chase success this time. He became success. Because when you live in alignment, abundance follows like a shadow. How to embody the energy of 8. Here's how you can bring this power into your own life. Each morning, spend 8 minutes in stillness, no screens, no noise, just breath and presence. Each week, perform 8 small acts of kindness, not for recognition, but to clear space for grace. Each month, write down 8 intentions, not from urgency, but from your truest self. Because 8 is not about luck. It's about what you consistently plant and how patiently you allow it to grow. Closing message. As we close this sacred journey, take one deep breath. Let the energy of these numbers settle in your awareness. And remember, this isn't an ending, it's the beginning of a new cycle, filled with wisdom, karma, and conscious intention. If something resonated today, even softly, honor that shift. Tap, like, subscribe to Buddhist teachings, add, comment with this affirmation. I welcome prosperity with peace. I move with the rhythm of life. Until next time, stay grounded, stay mindful, and always follow the quiet rhythm within.